In a kingdom far away, there lived a toymaker known throughout the land as the Wonderful Toymaker. His creations were unmatched in their beauty and craftsmanship. Every child in the kingdom dreamed of owning one of his toys, and every parent sought his favor. What no one knew was that beneath his charming exterior lay a dark secret. The toymaker, whose name was Augustus, had a cellar filled with toys. These weren't just any toys, they were once children who had crossed him or displayed behavior he found distasteful. With his dark magic, Augustus had turned them into toys and kept them behind glass display cabinets, forever trapped in their wooden, porcelain, and cloth bodies. In the grand castle of the kingdom, there was a young princess named Isabella. She was known for her beauty, but also for her spoiled nature. She always got what she wanted and treated those around her with disdain. Her father, the king, loved her dearly and indulged her every whim, hoping that one day she would grow out of her spoiled ways. One day, as Isabella strolled through the castle gardens, she came upon a beautiful, intricately carved wooden doll left on a bench. It had eyes that seemed to sparkle with life and a dress that shimmered in the sunlight. Isabella was enchanted. She picked it up and hurried to her father. "Father, look at this doll. I want more like it. Please, find the toymaker who made this and bring him to me," she demanded. The king, eager to please his daughter, sent out his men to find the creator of the doll. It didn't take long for them to track down Augustus, the wonderful toymaker, and bring him to the castle. Augustus, with his charming smile and polite manners, bowed deeply before the king and princess. "You have made my daughter very happy with your doll, toymaker," the king said. "She desires more of your creations." Augustus looked at the princess, who was clutching the doll possessively. He saw the spoiled nature in her eyes, and a plan began to form in his mind. He bowed again and said, "It would be my honor to create more toys for the princess. In fact, I have a special collection that I would love to show her. Perhaps she would like to visit my workshop?" Isabella, intrigued by the promise of more beautiful toys, agreed eagerly. "Yes, father, may I go? I want to see all the toys he has." The king, trusting the toymaker, allowed his daughter to go with Augustus. They traveled to his workshop, a quaint little building on the edge of the village. Inside, the workshop was filled with toys of all kinds, dolls, soldiers, animals, and more, each more beautiful and lifelike than the last. Isabella wandered through the workshop, her eyes wide with wonder. "These are all so wonderful," she exclaimed. "I want them all." Augustus smiled, a cold glint in his eye. "Would you like to see my special collection, princess? It's in the cellar, where I keep my most prized creations." Isabella nodded eagerly. Augustus led her down a narrow staircase to a heavy wooden door. He opened it and motioned for her to enter. The cellar was dimly lit, but as her eyes adjusted, Isabella saw rows upon rows of glass display cabinets, each containing a single, exquisite toy. She walked closer, her breath catching in her throat as she realized that these toys looked almost real. "This is my collection of the finest toys," Augustus said softly. "Each one is unique and has a story behind it." Isabella peered into one of the cabinets and gasped. The doll inside looked just like a child she had known, a boy who had mysteriously disappeared from the village a year ago. She moved to the next cabinet and saw a girl who had vanished last winter. A sense of dread began to creep over her. "These are not just toys," she whispered, backing away. "What have you done?" Augustus's charming smile twisted into something more sinister. "They were all like you, princess, spoiled, ungrateful children. I gave them a chance to be part of something beautiful, something lasting." Fear gripped Isabella, and she turned to run, but Augustus was too quick. With a wave of his hand and a muttered incantation, she felt her limbs stiffen. Her vision blurred, and the world spun around her. When she could see again, she was inside a glass cabinet, looking out. Her body was wooden, her joints stiff. She was a doll, just like the others. Augustus stood before her, his face a mask of satisfaction. "Welcome to my collection, princess. You will be admired for generations to come." Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The king searched tirelessly for his daughter, but she was never found. The wonderful toymaker continued his work, his reputation only growing. Children still clamored for his toys, and parents still sought his favor, unaware of the dark secret hidden in his cellar. As the years passed, Isabella watched from her glass prison, unable to move or speak, but fully aware. She saw other children brought to the cellar, each one transformed and added to the collection. She saw the toymaker grow older, his hair turning gray, but his eyes remaining sharp and cold. One night, many years after Isabella had been taken, a young boy named Thomas came to the toymaker's workshop. He was different from the others, kind, brave, and determined. His sister had disappeared, and he suspected the toymaker. He had heard rumors, whispered in the dark corners of the village, and he had come to find the truth. Thomas waited until Augustus was asleep, then crept into the workshop and found the door to the cellar. With a trembling hand, he opened it and descended the stairs. The sight that met his eyes filled him with horror and determination. He saw the glass cabinets, the lifelike dolls, and recognized his sister among them. His heart pounded as he searched for a way to break the spell. He found a book of spells and incantations on a dusty shelf and began to read, hoping to find a way to free the trapped children. Hours passed, and finally, he found what he was looking for, a spell to reverse the enchantment. Thomas began to chant the words, his voice steady and strong. The air around him crackled with energy, and the dolls in the cabinets began to stir. One by one, the wooden bodies softened and transformed back into flesh and blood. The children blinked, dazed and disoriented, but alive. Isabella felt her limbs loosen and her body return to normal. She stumbled out of the cabinet, tears streaming down her face. She turned to Thomas, gratitude and admiration in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for freeing us." The other children gathered around, their expressions a mix of fear and relief. They all turned to the stairs as Augustus appeared, his face twisted with rage. He raised his hands, ready to cast a spell, but Thomas was quicker. He spoke the final words of the reversal spell, and Augustus's power shattered. The toymaker fell to the ground, his body withering and decaying before their eyes. The dark magic that had sustained him for so long was gone, and he crumbled to dust. The children, now free, climbed the stairs and emerged into the light of the workshop. Word of their return spread quickly through the village, and the king was overjoyed to have his daughter back. Isabella, forever changed by her experience, became a kind and just princess, dedicated to helping others. The toymaker's workshop was sealed, and the cellar was never opened again. But the legend of the wonderful toymaker lived on, a cautionary tale of vanity, kindness, and the hidden darkness that can lurk behind even the most beautiful creations.